Welcome to another video by the AGBU MDS Journalism Club. While the pandemic has affected us all in different ways, as students, we can all agree that there are both positive and negative aspects of online learning. But while we talk amongst ourselves, we typically do not hear the other side of the story, the teacher's side. In this series, the Journalism Club will be sharing with you all how our DHS teachers feel about online learning. And this week, we had the opportunity to ask, what are some difficulties of online teaching?
Some of the difficulties, of course, I miss the everyday interaction that you can't really get from online teaching, the spontaneous interaction that I believe online teaching is kind of taken away. Me personally, behind the scenes, one of the difficulties I've had is converting most of my lessons, let's say, to worksheet I would photocopy and pass out, converting that to a Google Doc format and a digital format.
Աշակերտ ուսուցիչ ֆիզիկական իսկապես մոդիգության լսելու, իրար հետ կապվելու, հաղորդակցվելու բագասը։ Մնացածը ուրիշ ծևերով, տարբեր ծևերով գլուծենք հիմա, բայց հիմնական դժվարությունը գաբի բագասն է։
Some of the difficulties of online learning is number one, the in-person connection. So of course, when we're in the classroom, you have that one-on-one with your students, you have your students in front of you, you're able to connect with them, and that's one of the difficulties.
Ես անձնապես սիրում եմ աշակերտների հետ շփման մեջ գտնվել եւ այդ մեկը բնականաբար բացակայում է առցանց ուսուցման ընթացքում։ Երկրորդը որ աշակերտները գտնվելով տանը գտնվում են իրենց comfort zone-ի մեջ եւ չեն անում իրենց կարելին.
The challenge one is obviously the whole technological side of it, the IT side of it, where Wi-Fi becomes an issue. Not all systems talk to each other properly, so maybe in some instances a student is able to log in some cases they get booted out and they can't rejoin. Yeah, it really takes away from the time that we have together as a teacher in the classroom.
I would say distractions. Students can get distracted easily, and technical difficulties, of course, and always keeping the students motivated. That's kind of difficult.
I can look at people on a screen and they can be looking back at me. And just because they're looking back at me, though, does not mean they're with me. They're paying attention. They're engaged. And I had to accept that I couldn't be the master of the domain.
Not being able to catch you guys cheating is a big one. Academic dishonesty, and just you guys being on another tab or doing something on the side. And I mean, at school, I can knock on your desk. I can come up from behind you. I can't do that. I can't knock on your door, unfortunately, or sneak into your room and see what you guys are doing.
Առցանց դասավանդության մեջ մասնավոր դժվարություններ այդպես ես չեմ տեսնում, որովհետև յուրաքանչյուր փորձառու ուսուցիչ կարող է իր դասը կազմակերպել ոչ միայն առցանց, այլև սովորական դասարանի մեջ։ Փոքրիկ դժվարությունները, եթե անգամ լինում են, փորձում ենք արագ հաղթահարել եւ հաջողեցնել մեր դասապրոցեսը.
To be honest, it's harder to kind of follow its students' work when they're doing like in class. In class, I was kind of walking around. I could see what they're writing, what they're doing. But here online, it's not easy to check one by one's work, even though we're always like trying to ask questions and discussing the problems. But it's comparing to like the physical class, it's harder to kind of check one by one's work.
We know that students have a lot of online resources available to them, especially for math. You can, let's say, type in an equation and the whole thing comes up for you. So, I'm not so concerned about the grades, but I'm concerned about the learning, because if I'm not getting a true sense of how students are doing on an assessment, then I want to know how to alter my teaching and where to really go from there.
I can't see your art as you're making it. I can't walk around the classroom and watch everyone's progress simultaneously. And the main challenge is I can't pick up my paintbrush and show you how to do something on your page right on the spot that you could then emulate and learn that technique.
Online ուսուցման դժվարությունները այն է, որ մենք, այսինքն ուսուցիչներս եւ աշակերտները իրարու հետ շփում չունենք եւ այս մարդկային շփումը չկա իրարու հետ եւ գիտես երբ որ իրարու աչք գնայինք աչքերով գնայինք մոդսես անդի շատ տարբեր նշանակություն ունի
COVID-19-ի պայմաններում առցանց դասավանդման ամենածանր բանը ինձ համար, երբ որ մարդկային անձնական շփում չկա աշակերտի հետ.
When we were first told that there's going to be a pandemic and we're going to have to shut down school, the first thing that we were told was like it's going to be maybe just for the week, maybe just 2 weeks, or then once we went through the first week, it started, well, maybe we're going to wait until a spring break, and then after spring break, no, maybe it's going to be the whole next year, and so on. So this uncertainty was like really difficult to plan for. And knowing me, I like to plan ahead for anything and double, have a backup plan in case the first plan doesn't work. This was difficult.
If you recall, at the outset, we were only going, when I say we, teachers and students, were only going to be doing this for 3 weeks. And then we would have our Easter vacation. And the original thought was that we would be coming back after Easter vacation to our campus. So those first 3 weeks was a difficult time period for me because I had been teaching for 20 years basically, and now I was being told, we've got to do this in a different manner. So you've heard the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? I'm not necessarily an old dog, but this was definitely a new trick.
I am an active person. I never sit down in the classroom. I walk around, I stand up, and sitting all day is difficult for me more than teaching.
And just the whole body language of teaching, their body language, my body language, I just get very frustrated that I cannot emote the same kind of transference of concepts, of feelings, of passion. You know, through the years, students have always told me that it's my passion for the subject that really gives them a lot of incentive to learn. I just feel very frustrated that I can't emote that same passion through a screen.
But I would say the most difficult, the one I miss the most is, like I said, the spontaneous, funny jokes or amusing moments that happen organically in a traditional classroom.
Tune in next week when we ask our teachers, was it hard for you and your class to adapt to online teaching?